a little more.
Welcome to the next level with Keith, where clarity replaces confusion and simple systems lead to real freedom. Every episode begins with intention, music that centers your mind, lifts your spirit, and prepares you for transformation. This is your space for growth, your place to reset, your moment to rise. Rethinking your thinking, because when you shift your mind, you shift your money. Stack and grow, where small intentional steps turn into lasting wins. Simple strategies, real progress. Your circle, your currency, because your network matters. Mobile money moves, business, income, and empowerment from the device in your pocket. This isn't just talk, it's guidance, it's strategy, it's movement. Welcome to the next level with Keith. Let's begin.
Hey, you heard me? More love, a little more love. More love, a little more love. Hey, welcome y'all. Welcome to the next level with Keith podcast, episode 6. Man, I tell you, who would ever thought? Who would ever thought? My 6th episode. Man, time is flying. I'm excited to be here. Are you? Yes, I'm excited to be here on this Monday, January 26th, 2026. And I'm telling you, I'm having a ball. Even though today was a crazy snow day, digging all day and throwing snow. And I mean, it was amazing. But thank God for the strength. And I was saying this to my brother, that there are many people who are my age and they can only look through the window and look at the snow. They can't go outside. They're weak and frail. But thank God for strength and for youth and for the vitality which He's given me, because it's not by might or by power, but by the Spirit. So yes, I'm excited. And this is a great day. I got some good news. And I'm telling you, I've been waiting for a while for this. And yes, it is here. And someone is going to be demonstrating something to you that I think it's exciting. It's unboxing what I call my story. How does that sound to you? And yes, it's been a while, been many years, and God's allowed me to come this far to pen this thing here. And I'm not calling this a preventative measures for every teenager across the world. I call it my personal preventative measure for every teenager, especially for those of you who are about to enter college. This right here, I think it's the way. Producer, let's have it. Ooh, that's groovy. That's groovy. Oh man, you can do it again. That was fun. I like that. Yeah, so as you can see, ah, it's like a double take. You know what I'm saying? Just do it twice, plus it's that good. Yeah. Ah, yeah. When fun is not money, it's out. You know, it's on the money. Though it's snowing outside, you know it's kinda sunny. I'm feeling inside. I'm so like so right and feeling uptight. No, because God made it happen. Before you know it, He did. Like I wake up one morning, and there was this. Yeah, it's the man who came to me. Woo! Love it, love it, love it. See, I'm rapping. I'm sure somebody's saying, Keith, you're not a rapper, man. You're not a rapper. Don't even try. But that's all right. Thank you, engineer. I appreciate that. That was fun. So that is my story. And I'm telling you, I'm excited for those who are gonna see that and they're gonna glean from it, I hope. And they're gonna realize that in life, sometimes one decision can change your entire trajectory for good or for bad. And as you read my story, as you check out some things that I've gone through, my prayer is that you will say, you know what? Let me take precaution here. Let me think twice here. And let me stay on the straight and narrow. There's no saying the broad is a road that leads to destruction, they say. The good book says. And the one that's narrow and seems a bit boxed in and maybe a bit restrictive and a bit maybe, you know, alarming and maybe a little more aware, or one that brings more awareness to you. It may seem more uncomfortable, but that's the safest road to go, right? The wide road tend to leads to a lot of not so cool places. Anyway, folks, again, happy to be here for episode 6. And today, our topic that we will be talking about is entrepreneurs dealing with the X factor. All right. The X factor. And, you know, there's a phrase, and I've heard it many times. Maybe you have. And it's a very popular phrase, and I've heard it in different settings, different, we call it context. But it all points to a similar feeling of pain, similar feeling of regret. And it's a phrase that goes something like this: I'll never do it again, ever in my life. I'll never, ever get married again. Apparently, they were married before, right? Not anymore. Or you may hear, I'm never dating in my culture again, or in that culture again. All right. I'm never stepping foot into another church. Have you made those statements before? I'm never, ever going back into a church as long as I live. How about this one? I will never, ever do another online business. I never, ever do it. Some of you probably married and you promise your spouse, and maybe your spouse say, listen, if you ever join one of those things again, I'm leaving this marriage. It's ended. I believe these phrases are more common than we think, but it's real. And wherever someone is in their lives, and whatever they say, you know, it's valid. It's valid. It's real. Pain is real, and pain comes in all forms. But pain is pain, and it's something that I have to acknowledge. And those statements are very. They have a finality towards them. They really do. And a lot of times, folks who say these words really don't mean it in their hearts of hearts. And that's why many folks have actually reconsidered after maybe some event, maybe some awakening, maybe some dream, or maybe some experience. They say, you know what, let me reconsider, let me what XYZ. So in the book I wrote, When Fun is Not Funny, not sure if you seen me talk about this before in my podcast, but yes, It's titled When Fun Is Not Funny. I talk about the pain and the bitterness that sometimes follows an experience, right? And why it's so bitter is because of what it promised. It's like you promised this thing, right? And you have joy in terms of your expectation, you have hope, you have this excitement. And then you'll find that at the end of this thing was a disappointment. That is very, very common. I've seen people who have gone through it. I've talked with people who have gone through it, and I've gone through it myself. So let me ask you this, especially if you're an entrepreneur, because the many of you out there, especially now, you're really looking into entrepreneurship. You probably had it in your heart for a long time. You've been thinking about some things, you're pondering some things, and you're saying, now, I think it's time. I'm gonna hit the road and get this idea going. What is a restaurant you want to start, or maybe you want to write a book, or maybe you want to do something, online, but you're thinking about really doing it now. Is that I realize that you want to hone in on this thought. Why am I really doing this? Why am I really doing this? All right. You buried it for a while, or maybe you said you wouldn't, but now you're saying I'm gonna rekindle. But really, why? Why are we doing it now? You know. And as I thought about that, there's an X factor to it. There's an X factor. All right, because you are aware that the disappointment is real, and there's fear involved. Maybe a little bit of anxiety. All right, a little bit of just reluctancy in, like, how much should I go hard at this? Should I really go hard? Should I just kind of get my feet a little wet and kind of dive in this thing? You know, how should I approach this thing? Because sometimes disappointment really hardens one decision. It really does. So I say this because after more than 20 years of me exploring the online space, I do understand the feeling that many of you out there face right now. I really do. And to kind of digress a little bit here, I recall working at a it was called a residential home for boys. I don't want to say necessarily the name of it, but it was a residential home for boys, and some of the staff there were ex jailers. They went to jail. They spent time in jail. They did time, and some of these boys had their first, offense, maybe, the first misdemeanor. Some spent maybe a couple of days in jail, or weeks, a couple weeks or months in jail. And so they had these men who were like mentors and, staff, and they were to, like, help these boys to, to kind of really make better choices. And when these men spoke to these boys, you could feel the connection. You could feel that he knew what he was saying. There was no doubt about this man had seen some things, been somewhere, and know something. And you could see the way these boys would look at these men when they talk. I'm like a newbie. Look at me. I no partying since I was younger, no drugs, no marijuana, no kind of stuff. Just a regular church boy. And I was like, I didn't feel the connection there. I didn't feel like I belonged there until one day, it's like something said to me, guess what? You're showing them what they don't have to go through or don't even have to become, because there were boys there that were there because why? They had broken homes. They might have had death in their family. Sometimes the parents may have been caught in certain things, and the kids were taken away from them. Different reasons why. Doing all day because they were in jail. So I find that there were boys there that really connected with me, right? But clearly, as I mentioned about those staff who really had the experience of being out there, they connected, and so that's why I feel that as an online entrepreneur, I probably say I'm a serial entrepreneur. Uh, I would say that I get it. I understand. I really, really do. And it's important that as you watch this right here, you know that I'm not just here with fluff. I really have walked the road. I've gone there. I've worn the t-shirt, and I know what it feels like. And so, looking at the X factor here and my time online, um, looking at the time invested. All right, the money that was invested. All right. The belief that's an investment. Believing something is an investment. Hoping, right? And sometimes speak of the thing as if it has happened already. Confidence, right? But then you walk away feeling let down, right? So it's almost like we want to kind of take a moment and peel back the curtain a little bit. All right. We've talked about the pain, we've addressed it. We know it's there, we know it's real. But now, how about facing the mirror? Is it time to face the mirror and look at ourselves and say, you know what? Let me look at this from another angle. All right. And sometimes in life, situations happen, whether it's in a personal setting, whether it's in a family setting, or whether it's in a community setting or a city or world setting, like what we see now in government, it's affecting the entire world. There are people who never considered politics before who are now learn about politics. There are people who didn't know who certain people were in government. Now they know their names. There are people who never considered getting involved in political matters. Now they're thinking about it because of what's happening, how it has brought about an awareness. All right. So the thing about pulling that back the curtain, and maybe gently, right? Maybe gently, but honestly, right? We want to be authentic and honest as we approach it these ways, in this way. And the reason why, see, because sometimes it's not the entrepreneurship that failed us. It's not that we probably made a bad decision. The X factor behind could be what it is how did we enter that space? How did we enter that space? All right. And that's why the segment that I call Rethink Your Thinking asks the hard questions. All right. Rethink Your Thinking asks the hard question. And most folks, we know that sometimes it's hard to really be real with ourselves, because it does make us accountable. And many times we run from accountability. We run from the facts. All right. But before closing that door permanently, all right, and put the lock and key and lock it away, all right, before we do that, before we decide to call it quits permanently, all right, we owe ourselves this. We owe ourselves this. A good, deep reflection. And could it be this? Could it be this? The motive wasn't clear at the beginning of when we started that thing. Maybe the motive wasn't in line. Is that possible? Okay, maybe the belief was very low. It really wasn't there. We did it maybe on a whims, maybe to go along to get along, maybe as a fad, maybe not understanding or we probably didn't take it serious. or did not understand what it really entails, or maybe the why wasn't big enough, right? I mean, we all have a why we do things, all right? And regardless of what people say, we're gonna do what we want to do, and that's just a fact. We're gonna do what we feel to do and want to do. So maybe our why wasn't big enough. So these things are not meant to aggravate you or make you feel any shame in any kind of way or disdained in any kind of way. They're really meant to kind of look at your perspective. We evaluate your perspective, right? And look at what we can do, or we can pause and just really, really look at how we can proceed the right way. And that's why this show is designed to kind of slowly walk you through that process, that step by step. Someone who can identify with what you've gone through. Maybe more intense, maybe less intense, I don't know. But for sure, I know what that pain is like. So before we move on with this segment here, I want to spend a little time with moments for partnerships. All right. We're very grateful. I know I am. I'm extremely grateful to stand alongside organizations doing meaningful work, doing really groundbreaking work. I called it last week on my episode 5, boots on the ground. I mean, really going where the needs are. And I have a deep respect for ministries as such, real deep, real admiration. And that's why I take joy in highlighting these particular organizations. And the first one I will present to you is Gospel Foundation International Healing Ministries. That's GFIHM.
This moment is for builders, visionaries, and brands with purpose. If you want access, alignment, and momentum, not just motivation, this is your step forward. Join the next level with Keith channel members. Whether you're a freedom chaser, freedom supporter, next level insider, or next level builder, this is where growth gets structure and community becomes currency. And for partners with a mission, we don't just promote brands. We position purpose. Bring your cause, your company, your message, and let's amplify it with intention and impact. Membership opens the door. Partnership expands the reach.
Gospel Foundation International Healing Ministries is a Bible-based ministry. Through worship, prayer, and deliverance, we help individuals find restoration. We equip believers to build stronger families and healthier communities. Footprints of Faith Radio shares real stories of healing and hope. Bible Talk for Children helps kids develop strong moral foundations. Apply for sponsored digital advancement support for growing your reach. Your support makes this possible. We're aiming for a $500 monthly goal. Support, partner, or give today at gfihministries.org/give.
All right, all right, all right. So you see for yourself what's happening there. Plain sight, right? In plain sight. So there's no mystery here. They let you know what they're doing. They let you know what they're about. And if you feel any alignment with such a mission, with such a vision, then we're asking that you support, right? And sometimes it's not the big amount that always works. Sometimes it's just little amounts and people coming together and make it happen. So you're talking about $10, $15, $25, $50. Some folks can pay the one $500 for the entire month, which is the goal. And they can meet their needs. So we asking that if you feel any alignment here, you feel like you want to consider supporting, you want to go to gfihministries.org /give. That's gfihministries.org /give. Truly excited about that. Yes, so getting back to our rethink your thinking segment here. It's something to really hone in on, because that's kind of where it starts from. You know, sometimes when we learn things, it's sometimes hard to unlearn those things, but it's not beyond us. It just takes I would say I would say a serious mind, a serious decision. Say, you know what, I want change, and I got to change. And so, even when someone say never again, there could be two reasons for entering the online space. Is a wise thing to do. Yes, you've said it. You've said, you know what, never again. I'm done. It's over. But there are two reasons why I can tell you want to reconsider getting back in the online space. All right? Two reasons. One is this: flexibility and and what? Scalability. All right? Flexibility and scalability. There are a whole lot of stay-home moms, and a lot of stay-home moms became that way after realizing, listen to me, my baby needs me. And a lot of moms went to work and just realized that I'm missing something. Something is missing here. What do I have to do? And a lot of ideas were birthed out of these things. And here comes the world now where we have the online space with opportunities, and many have grabbed it. But we see now that world has evolved and is evolving rather quickly, right? And it's not waiting for you and I to catch up, right? We have to know that it is moving fast, and we got to really move quickly, expeditiously. All right, we can't be hanging around looking at the clock and wondering what's going to happen tomorrow. What we can do today, we do it. What we can start today, we do it. This program right here that you're watching could be a divine appointment. Who knows? Could be your divine appointment to say, you know what? Yes, I got to rethink and begin this journey again. So yes, flexibility, because you know, you know how the job thing is already. You know how it is to be on someone else's time. When they tell you to when to clock in, when to take your break, all right, when to go home. You know what that is. And most of us don't like that. But the good thing is that we can change it. All right. So the flexibility of being online, and even now with technology, oh, it's even better. All right. And scalability, you can do more. You can expand your thinking more. And so as you expand your thinking more, because you're not in a box, then you see where things can scale. All right. Many people, it's funny because they start something, maybe you know just casually, and now they're saying, wait, I can use my home. My home is a space. All right. And they're able to use their home and turn it into a business. It becomes an office space. And there are certain credits and certain kind of advantages that one can receive when your home is a space. Your phone use is can be tax deductible. Your rent that you pay for the space can be tax deductible. You pay for different things. You may have guests come over in your home, and you buy f- stuff and food and that kind of thing. That's a part of something you could write off. And there's so many different areas that you can scale your business when it's home. On a job, you're pretty much just at the job, right? Now, I'm not saying job is a bad thing. All right. Many people they start out there and they transition. So I'm big on that, on transitioning from the job to, having this next experience. Number two is diverse income opportunities. Remember, we talked about the first one, which was flexibility and scalability. Now we're talking about diverse income opportunities. So, having two, three, four, seven income streams, not a bad idea, is it? All right. So having several income streams, if you can, why not? Why not? So you have a way to what? To try different things, explore different things, and don't feel constricted. Don't feel like you in a box somewhere, you know? And so that's a good thing about it. You see, from consulting to digital products, online income isn't limited to what? To one lane. The key difference is this: once you have the clarity and once you have the strategy, not just emotions, once you have clarity and strategy, not just emotions, believe me, you're talking about stacking and growing here, oh, forget about it. But I say this to you: see yourself, that's not where you are right now, but see yourself at the next level. Sometimes start seeing in your mind and write things down if you can. Right where you want to be in 6 months, in a year, in 2 years. Start doing those small goals, right? Very, very important. Visualize what you see yourself doing. Visualize where you see yourself at in 6 months financially, in a year financially, and start to realize that as you make those small steps and put everything together, you'll find that it'll just work itself right through. Right here, for example, what you're watching here, what you're seeing here is a community, is a network. So don't get it twisted. When you see me here flowing the way I'm flowing, is because there is a network that's in place. You know, and you just have to explore to see the blessing that's in front of you. All right. We have many people in the world who create things that are not designed to what? To let you be empowered. It's designed for you to become a consumer and to spend your hard-earned money and your time and your mind, right? It's not designed for you to be empowered. Designed to keep you back and keep you paying. All right. It's funny because the kind of money that runs through the black community here in the United States alone, I'm talking about several trillion dollars. Many countries don't see that kind of money. I'm talking about countries don't see that kind of money, the kind of money that flows through the black community here in the United States. Imagine if if they were able to combine the efforts. Imagine they're able to network correctly. I think we're getting there. Not sure how fast or quickly, or how earnestly they want to make it happen. But imagine if they could come together, unify themselves with the right systems. Man, it'll be a powerful thing. So the goal here is to what? Is to get us as a community to start seeing that, you know, it's not a one-man show. It's a coming together. It's a coming together, and it is really powerful. Now, before I go to my next segment, I want to highlight another ministry that I think is so amazing in what they're doing, the job they're doing, and what they've done for so many years and continue to do. And it's the WAMO, which is Women and Men of Excellence Outreach Ministries. That's WAMO.
This moment is for builders, visionaries, and brands with purpose. If you want access, alignment, and momentum, not just motivation, This is your step forward. Join the next level with Keith channel members. Whether you're a freedom chaser, freedom supporter, next level insider, or next level builder, this is where growth gets structure and community becomes currency. And for partners with a mission, we don't just promote brands. We position purpose. Bring your cause, your company, your message, and let's amplify it with intention and impact. Membership opens the door. Partnership expands.
We invite you to worship with Apostle Dr. Faith Walters. We're live every Sunday and Wednesday at 2.
Women and Men of Excellence Outreach Ministries is a global church without walls. We're serving communities through live services, prayer intervention, and outreach that changes lives. Support our $500 monthly giving drive at WAMOE.org/give. Shop with purpose at faithmerchandise.com, featuring Dr. Faith's Miracle Lemonade. Book Dr. Faith for therapy, speaking, or ministry at drfaithreborn.com. Grow through professional connection and vocational training at theexcelproject.com. Subscribe to our monthly newsletter and follow us on socials at WAMO Ministries. Become a great motivator. Help us empower minds for success in the kingdom of God.
Yes, yes. Again, another fantastic work that's been done. And if you feel, like I said, aligned, if you feel that, listen to me, I like what these people are doing. I feel an alignment towards it. Then we want you to what? Make that thought an action. We want to make that deliberate, intentional act to support such a ministry, the WAMO. So again, with those small donations, 10, 20, 50, 100, whatever you feel. Some people may give 1,000. I never ever say because I may act for something that God through someone can't do this, right? Because we don't go by just what we see and what we think, but we know that our Creator, the one who made us and know us in and out and knows our needs. Listen to me, He can surprise us anytime He wants to, and He can send people in our path. Someone I know very well, awesome lady. She was on my podcast last week, and she said, "My angels, God sent me angels in different form, different ways, and different times." All right, and God does that. So I don't put a cap on God. So yes, we ask for what we ask for, but we know people out there are big hearts. They have the love ministry, and when they see what aligns with them, they don't mind. So if you really want to take part in giving, you go to wamo.org/give. That's WAMOE.org/give. And we're looking to have you just be a part of that. Yes, so as we get back into Stack and Grow, yes. Stack and grow. Stack it up, stack it up, stack it up. Yes, the stacking thing going on here. And what one of the mistakes, by the way, tell me if this sounds better, because I didn't have my mic for the first half, but I think this might be better. Let me know. Leave a comment in the thing if I sound louder and clearer to you. So one of the biggest mistake people make after they've had a disappointing experience, or they experience disappointment, maybe sometimes, many times, is they assume nothing happened. They assume nothing really counted, nothing really good happened. But that's not true. I said in one of my episode that when I met with my coach and I went through the program, a light bulb came off. I came on, saying came off. A light bulb came on. And what it was the fact that she allowed me to see this thing that I overlooked as not important. She allowed me to see the thing that I thought was not significant. They were actually very significant to my growth, to the actual goal. And many times we make that mistake and thinking that, oh, nothing happened. All right. Sometimes some people, they kept going on for so many years, but because they didn't stop, they end up connecting with something else. But if they had stopped, they might have never connected with the other thing that they probably didn't even see coming. They probably wouldn't even connect with something else that is not working if they had stopped. So even just going and keeping going and keep on going is pivotal to your success. All right. So you're looking at some things that I think is so important to consider. And one thing is consistency. All right. Consistency is a major factor. Are you consistent? Have you started something and just stop and try something else and stop and all right? Even though you stopped, you might have had some setbacks. The fact that you kept going and trying different things, that is consistency. Sometimes be consistent is not necessarily the one thing, but you kept on, you never quit. And yeah, someone told me about 5 years ago, say, Keith, I've watched you over the last number of years, but something is going to hit. Something's going to, I can't tell what it is, but something's going to hit for you, Keith. I just see it. And yeah, it took years, but yes, but he was right. And so consistency is a very important thing. Also, now positioning. Sometimes we don't know how to position ourselves, but sometimes when things come to us, or when you're falling in certain things, you can see now, how can I position myself in this? Now, I give an example on my podcast, on my site in particular, I have some areas that are designed for those who have inquiring minds, right? Those who people who are like, you know what? Let me go a little deeper. Let me see what this is about. Let me see what is being offered here. And so they may be scrolling down and say, wait a minute, what's that? That's family protection. What's that about? Ask questions. Family protection. Man, I have a family, and protection to me is very important. Let me see what that's about. That's a part of it. All right. And so as you see more, you say, listen, how can I position myself in this area? And that's just one part of the network. Someone may be looking for, I need something one in HR. HR. Hmm. How could I get to that? Someone could be saying, I need prayer. I need someone to minister to my needs, or someone I can talk to, someone who's spiritual. A lot of times folks don't realize that the spiritual things may seem to be insignificant until there's real trouble, there's real problems. All of a sudden, spirituality makes sense. I remember when 911 happened, for those of you who can remember as well, when 911 happened. I was in college, I was in school when it happened. And I remember that week, 2 or 3 weeks after that, everywhere I went, people were saying hello, good morning, hi. It was like one big family. The churches were packed and crowded. I mean, it was amazing to see how the city had pulled together for that short time. Seems because the disaster brought some awakening in people's mind. You know what? As far as things and how things are down here, maybe something bigger is happening. Maybe something bigger is important. Maybe something more than just what I see around and what I experience is bigger than all of this. So yes, position is important. Clarity of message. Clarity of message. That's another important one. Now, sometimes you may not be clear on how you want to, I guess, communicate what you're feeling. And again, when I reached out and opened myself to have someone take a peek and look and cover some things that I probably didn't realize, I became clearer in my understanding. And so my message became clearer. And so whatever you're seeing that's manifesting now is because of clarity. And believe me, it doesn't stop there because it's getting better and better. And as more clarity comes, more things are added, more things are said, more things are done, because that's the idea. It's not to be stagnant because I just had a moment of clarity. It's an ongoing thing as you open yourself. And that's what I found when I opened myself, to say, well, yes, there's more, there's more, there's more. All right. So that's stacking. What I just mentioned to you a while ago: consistency, positioning, clarity of message. That is a part of stacking. All right. Because staying in the game, what? It changes the odds. When you and I stay in the game and we don't give up, we don't leave and quit, that's the first sign. I heard a great teacher, his name was, I think it was Byron Golden, I think, the Byron Golden. And he said, it's funny. He said, for those who have a book, you never know what it will do. You never know how it will sell. And he talked about how his book made so much money. And he said, a lot of us, if we never had a book, then nothing was going to be made. But at least if you make that thing, if you have that product, you never know what it'll do. So at least make it. All right. That's the fighting chance. That's the possibility that you're opening up. Because many of us have stuff buried inside of us that needs to come out. All right. So many people quit what they quit just before transaction shows up, before traction takes forward. They quit before traction, that grit, right? Like mm, now it's about to turn. Then they quit. So it's important to understand that stacking and growing is something that you don't want to ever despise. And you may want to have someone to show you how you've been stacking and growing. And if you do that, you're going to probably appreciate it a whole lot more if you understand what stacking and growing is. We have a segment coming up that I like a lot. And I think that we're looking at your circle, looking at your those around you. Oh, that's deep. It's called your circle, your currency. Powerful, powerful, powerful section. And I give you a joke, but last week I was in conversation with someone who have a high regard and respect for, someone who has been in the field, in the game, who understands certain things. And again, that coaching posture, so important. And during this conversation, I felt very disturbed and a bit uprooted, like someone that kind of stirred me up in a way that felt uncomfortable. All right. Felt like, oh man, where am I? I felt like my foot wasn't planted. I was trying to find my footing. It felt like someone had disturbed my peace. It felt that way. But between Friday and Saturday morning, it might be one of the best things that ever happened to me, because that stirring, that so-called agitation, as you would say, that shaking, that disturbance, or that eruption, all right, was that was that medication. I get. Can I give a joke? I'm gonna give a joke, y'all. I did the thing, you said when men get to age 50, they're supposed to do this kind of thing. I'm a little older than that, but when they get to age 50, you want to do that colonoscopy. Colonoscopy. That is, I think it's highly recommended that we do this, especially us black men. You know, and for years I'm thinking, oh my God, it's a dreadful idea to, it feels so, so weird, to have someone do that kind of procedure on your body. I mean, that's a place that you don't look at, you don't see, you don't touch, you just leave it alone. It does what it does. It gets rid of the waste, and you're good with that. But now I have someone, you know, get in there and do their business that I don't know, but I figure it had to be done, and so I did when I did my thing. The point is that before I did it, there was a procedure. I had to drink this thing. It was like almost like a gallon of liquid. Oh, it was nasty to me anyway. Oh my God, it was horrible. I'm drinking, drinking, drinking. And I drank, and I'm telling you, it's supposed to get you to, I would say, get everything out of your system. All right. I'm trying not to be too graphic here. All right. To get everything out your system. And I'm telling you, when I started drinking that thing, a few hours came, and I'm telling you, I was like a loose goose chasing. I was like, you're kidding me here. I mean, everything inside me, I think, came out. It was an experience, uncomfortable. But when I went and did my procedure, and they showed me what my intestines looked like, it was like a baby. It was like, wow, it's that clear and clean and looking wonderful. I'm pretty sure before I drank that thing, it was looking nothing like that. All the years of who knows and stuff and whatever gunk and whatever you call it. But it wasn't comfortable. But the result was rewarding to know that, okay, you're okay here, you're okay there. We saw some concerns there, but we took care of it. Good feeling. And so you think about you think about um things that we may not think is important, but it's all a part of what? It's all a part of the win that we're going to experience. It really is. So your circle can be very instrumental. It's a powerful thing to have the right circle. And you may hear me say this over and over again. And what one may see on this episode, somebody may not see. But your circle is something that you cannot underestimate how important it is. And oftentimes, it's not the amount of people that you need, it's who you need. Because sometimes we think the more is better. The more is not necessarily better. All right. It is an understanding that. And, we all have a purpose. And many times when things may not go your way, sometimes there's a divine hand that's directing you, that's saying, no, that's not for you. All right. So, with all that I share here, all that I may talk about, all that I may try to inspire you with, or may encourage you with, I realize that I realize that at the end of the day, at the end of the day, you have a purpose, you have a goal. And the thing is that if you feel that thing strong, then move on it. All right. Sometimes your circle may not make you feel comfortable. Those some people in the circle, but sometimes before you disregard it or throw it away, you want to say, you know what? Maybe I needed that. All right. Maybe that person saying no, I needed that no. Because if I had a yes, it wouldn't be for my best. You know what I mean? So So it's very important that we understand our circle and the kind of pressures that we feel in. You know, they're folks, they'll pressure you in the wrong way. They really will. You tell them your ideas, oh, they shut it down so fast. That's why having the right person to begin the journey, it helps a lot. Do you know how many couples uh was on the verge of something great when one may have had something and brought it home and the other one just shut it down? That is so common. The wife may have something that was shared with her that was given to her. He said, "I'm gonna talk to my husband," and that's the end of it. Husband has something that he feels that he has to do. He goes to wife. That's the end of it. Sometimes it's for the good, but you really want to fine tune those yeses and nos that you're saying. It's not that the yes is bad or good, or the no is bad or good, but you want to make sure that you really do a strong, fine tooth comb approach to these things. I went to an event close to a month ago, and I was playing at it's like a call it an elderly home, like an almost like a nursing type facility, but more like a residential place for seniors. And these are folks who, had businesses. Some of them were lawyers, doctors, and you could tell that they, in their level of existence at that age, 80, 90, 90, whatever it is, they had certain comfort because of what they did over their lifetime. Some of them invested well, they worked hard, they saved their money, so they could afford a nice, comfortable setting, even on their last leg, so to speak. A lot of us now who are watching this show, The Next Level with Keith, you're in your 40s, your 50s, 60s, some maybe even your 70s. And you feel that, I'm down to my last leg. This is my last leg. I don't want to miss it now. I can't afford. It's like when you fall as a kid, you get up 10 times and you keep going. You're saying, I'm now 50, 60, 70. I can't fall down. Now, if I fall down now, I'm gonna never get up again. Those are real things, those are real things. And I do understand. Today when I was moving the snow, I did it very timely. I did it very methodically, right? I feel strong, right? I feel fit, right? But I understand I'm not 20 anymore. So I move with that understanding, that consciousness, that awareness. So even though I can move maybe fast and furious, right? I shovel and I take a break. Shovel, take a break. Shovel, take a break. Before I know it, the car was cleaned out, the air was cleared. I didn't feel I was overwhelmed, right? Besides this, it being real cold, right? And I felt good. Many people have heart attacks shoving the snow, my age and younger, because of the approach to it. So this show is designed to hopefully give you a breakdown, like a slowing down pace, a slow down pace of like really say, you know what, I'm gonna get in the game, but this time more methodically, more with clarity, more with understanding. A lot of you may be saying, I want to find a coach. I want to find someone to talk to. Guess what happened? You found a home. A lot of you may say, I want to find someone who can break it down or maybe simplify the process. I think you found a home. All right. And like I said in one of my episodes, that what's on my site, I've been carefully curated just for you. They were thought out, they were real carefully put in place. All right. And the constant thinking and the constant trying to make it even better and more full and more rich is always taking place. It's not like it's stagnant. And so we're here to see everyone grow. The ministries grow, people grow individual in their own space. As a community, we're gonna grow. In our understanding, we're gonna grow. And I begin to see that already. I begin to see how we are growing at this stage. I've seen something happen within the last month that blew my mind. All right. I'm not big on giving out my income increase. I'm just not. Some people are, that's okay. But I've seen the increase happen so quickly, all right, that I wasn't even expecting it. But one thing I did, I realized that I took a step and I took a step in that circle. I took a step in the network. Sometimes when we take second step of faith, it's not just about thinking or feeling, it's about acting, action. A lot of company and businesses, they have a call to action. That's real. After we share with you, after we break it down, give you the tools, give you the insights, or somebody give it a lowdown, some would say. Then we say, hey, what's your part now? What are you gonna do? Because your action is what solidifies the thing. Your action is what makes it worthwhile. Believe me, if one person told me that because of this show, I can now live a life of financial freedom, I believe it would have worth it. If someone told me, because of this network, I can not only pay my bills, but I can support my favorite charities. I can do we call it some scholarships for kids. I can give a gift to someone as a vacation. Those things, very powerful. And sometimes it's not the vast amount, it's that stack growth statement that I talked about, or that step by step where we see things happening and growing daily, weekly, monthly. That's the beauty. I talk about my story, how I had a difficult time before I started. I'm thinking, how should I start the process? Very daunting, very overwhelming. Like, how am I going to write this book right here? How am I gonna do this thing? And I'm telling you, when I took that pen and I started writing. I was surprised how much had gotten done. I was amazed. I surprised myself. And I tell you one thing. I remember some time ago as well when I was when I was actually making short YouTube videos. And I would say, well, make sure we really pass 15 minutes. That was my idea. 10, 15 minutes the most. I remember the first time I was told to do an hour long video, again by a coach. She didn't tell me why. She said, just get it done. It's just serious. I do an hour. I think it was twice. I was like, what? In my mind, I'm thinking, an hour? It seems very daunting. And when I did that hour, it was like a breakthrough. I can't even explain it. It was a breakthrough. Little did I know, little did I know, I'll be doing podcasts. And most of my podcasts now, they're over an hour and 10 minutes, hour and a half, and I could go more. But that one or two events of me doing that hour long YouTube video was a breakthrough. a lot of times what we need, we just have to just put ourselves in that network, put ourselves in that situation, put ourselves out there. And I'm telling you, as I grow, you grow. Right? As I go to the next level, we go to the next level. That is what it's all about. It's a we thing, not a me thing. All right. And I'm truly excited to come here every Monday night at 9 to talk about my life experiences and to share with you my heart and to let you know that, listen, it's not over. You may think it's over, but it's not over. This could be for you a new beginning, a whole new beginning for you to reach heights that you never thought was possible. And so, yes, I'm here to support you in whatever way I can. And I want you to get connected. All right. I want to get connected with this network here. And I'm telling you, I think we're going to have testimonies after testimonies after testimonies of people saying, yes, look at where I was. And now look at where I am. That is what I'm looking to see happen. That's what I'm expecting to happen. All right. And it's just fun. It's great. It is hard work. All right. But in life, sometimes one does the hard work for someone to do a little easier work. All right. You may not be able to come here online and do a video. Maybe you don't need to. Maybe you need to be online to deal with the whole podcast. You may not want to be online to be engaged that way, but that's okay. All right. Someone does the hard work, and that way someone can do the easy work. All right. And when it's the easy work, I don't mean it will not require of you to really dig deep and do what you got to do. But clearly, I have a phone in my hands. I have a phone that I own, and it does so much. But the one who actually made that phone and those programs and those applications, you think those folks always had it easy and it was just, bam, bam, it's over? Some of these folks, they cried. They felt like quitting. They felt like giving up. They were like, what? Some of them probably toss the computer on the wall sometimes. They break that phone, break that thing, got mad at their loved ones. You know what I mean? Felt bad. Maybe they're going through people putting them down, saying it's not gonna work. Can you imagine some of these people what they've gone through? And here we are enjoying these things, right? Or pad, tablets, or phones, or all right. So it is easy in a way, but still, now I'm saying take that and run with it. Take the easy part and run with it. And at least it won't be as hard. All right. So that's what we're about. We're about just making you know that, listen, you can do this thing. We can do it as a unity, as a community, and there's no stopping us. All right. We talked about the X factor here. All right. And so talk about rethinking our thoughts. Went over that, right? It's very important. That's very foundational. Let's start. Right? We talked about our partners and how we are encouraging you to support. All right. We talked about that. And hopefully you haven't forgotten and you would definitely be a blessing that way. We talked about what? Stacking and growing. We went over that. And we also talked about your currency, your circular currency. Sorry, your circular currency. We talked about that as well. All right. So now, what action are you going to take? What action are you going to take? Are you going to stay with regret? Right? Are you going to turn regret into direction? All right. If you feel regret about trying to earn online, here's what I encourage you to do. Pause. All right, let's pause. Reflect. And what? Turn the experience into a lesson. not a loss. That's powerful. I'm going to say it again. We're going to pause, reflect, turn the experience into a lesson, not a loss. Nothing you want to consider. Seek guidance and build a plan. Clarity reduces regret. What you're seeing here is guidance. What you're seeing here is a plan. What you're seeing here is clarity. You're seeing guidance. And I don't claim to know it all. And maybe that we do is the day we fall. All right? So we need each other. We're interconnected. All right? And that's the way I think it ought to be. The other thing that we want to consider, don't let disappointment shut doors. Let it refine how you walk through them. That's powerful. So don't let what? Disappointment shut the doors. Let it refine how you walk through them. Finally, I say this. Finality born from pain blocks freedom. So if you decide that you want to quit something, end it all, because of pain, it blocks freedom. It blocks your ultimate freedom. Reflection, what? Restores it. So as you reflect and think, what didn't I do right? What could I have done differently? What didn't I do? What I could have done? Those are very important questions to ask yourself. And maybe in that moment, you say, you know what? I see where I need to go. I see what I need to do. And I can almost promise you, there's only a win at the other end of your story. So I'm truly again excited for what's to come. I'm excited for what has been done already and what's happening now. And I'm telling you, the best is yet to come. Folks, thank you for joining me here on The Next Level with Keith. It means a whole lot. You could be watching from the Caribbean right now. Maybe some of you may be in Europe, the cold climate. Who knows where you are? You could be in Africa where the sun is hot, burning up. You could be where? In Asia. It's a big world. All right? You could be here in the western part, in the USA, Europe. All right? But the point is that I hope that I've connected with you, that you've seen that it's not just talk, but action here. And you can take action like we do, because I don't want to go it alone. I don't want to be on top of the mountain by myself. All right? I don't think you want to be that way either. But I think as I grow, I want you to grow with me. We grow together and make this thing happen with, of course, the power of our Creator. Because you know what? He's the one that allowed this to happen. All right? And he called the shots finally anyway. But I thank him for giving me the strength to be here and the wisdom and the courage to keep moving forward and impacting whoever is willing to be impacted by this amazing show, The Next Level with Keith. So again, thank you, engineer, producer. You guys are my heartbeat. I can't do it without you. Thank you. God bless you. And for you, the audience, I'll see you on my next episode 7. God bless you. Have a good night and take care of yourself.
This moment is for builders, visionaries, and brands with purpose. If you want access, alignment, and momentum, not just motivation, this is your step forward. Join The Next Level with Keith channel members. Whether you're a freedom chaser, freedom supporter, next level insider, or next level builder, this is where growth gets structure and community becomes currency. And for partners with a mission, we don't just promote brands, we position purpose. Bring your cause, your company, your message, and let's amplify it with intention and impact. Membership opens the door. Partnership expands the reach.
Strong organizations are built on more than strategy, they're built on people. At Human Impact Development Consulting, we help organizations strengthen leadership and support staff well-being. We put clear people systems in place that actually work. From HR advisory and policy development to leadership support, we cover it all. Our approach is practical, ethical, and people-centered. If ready for clarity, confidence, and sustainable impact, visit sandrinedunkley.com. Human Impact Development Consulting, where people systems meet performance.
If today's episode spoke to you, it's because you're ready. Ready for your money to work for you. Ready for practical steps, not just motivation. Ready for faith-led financial freedom. Ready to build stability, peace, and confidence for your family. You're not alone on this journey. The Next Level isn't just a podcast. It's a movement toward freedom, one episode at a time. Stay connected. Listen anytime at podcast.keithmerritt.com. Explore the Next Level Movement Hub. Subscribe on YouTube at Keith Merritt. Like, share, comment. Your engagement helps this message reach more families. Take your next step. Visit keithmerritt.com/impact/the next level. Subscribe for the latest blog from the Freedom Resource Hub and join the Next Level Resource Network. Choose the hub that fits your journey. Music and speaking, family protection, digital learning, passive income, or Keith's book and reading hub. Press play. Take action. Your next level is calling.